Big fan.
Welcome back.
Oh, Varso, I love you.
Never fails.
Never fails.
I thought it was like, I thought that'd be like a go.
No, I transitioned to Slive right before you spoke. It's great.
Oh,
We've
I'm
only done
sorry.
it 41 other times for us.
I'm sorry.
More than that,
If you
really,
count-
because
if you count the break, then double that.
well, and the times past, which is 50 episodes.
That's true.
True.
So
That's
over
true.
100 at
You're-
this point, I think.
Yeah, you're crazy. All right.
I'm
You're bad.
absolutely insane.
All right, we're gonna start off with a quick little breakdown of all our level 7
Mental?
characters.
I forgot. I did it literally today and I already forgot.
I already forgot, so we
Oh.
won't start with you. Instead, we'll start with the drug lord himself.
Mm.
Tetsu.
Heidenberg. Oh.
Blood
Yeah.
Pillar.
So Len, for his level up, it's a feat level, so that means I get to take a feat. And I didn't take a very interesting feat. I took mobility, which isn't as cool as it is in like 5e. It just gives you like a +4 AC to opportunity attacks, but it's a prerequisite to like cooler like
That's what I did
mobility
last time.
feats.
That is
Yeah.
exactly why too. It was like a prereq for everything.
Exactly, yeah. So that's not the cool part, but the cool part is that Len started off having his field of study biohacks in pharmacology, and now he has gained a secondary field of study in anesthesiology, which is to
Oh, no.
represent
Jeez.
Oh, no.
drugs. So
Do you know what anesthesiology is?
oh, I do, but I'm more interpreting this in the sense of like sedatives, all sorts of stuff that he's
So
just
like
gonna be
both
injecting
uppers
with.
and downers now
Yes,
is
both.
really
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
The whole spectrum.
Yeah, you can't mix those. It just
you know
really
what? I
fucks
think
with you.
it's
just-
gotten to
Watch
the
me.
point where I'm gonna ask Waffles to add a content warning for drugs because we talk about drugs a lot.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, we do have a
Listen.
biohacker in the group, and their whole kind of base thing is drugs all the time.
Waffles
Yes.
decided to put a plot point in here that was
no,
become
no,
drug producer.
this is Dr. Len, 100%.
No,
that's
he
okay.
said,
blame
make me
society.
drugs. And Dr. Len said, I will take your lemons and make lemonade.
So
Anyway.
true. I'm an
Lemonade.
genius.
Continue, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
and that's really it. But as part of being an anesthesiologist, that means that Len can, wait, hold on, I forget what the booster is. Sorry. It means he can give like a bonus to pain effects for like people, or he can sedate people over and over again
my
until they
God.
get the
Oh my
fatigued
God.
then exhausted condition.
Oh my god.
So that's the cool one.
Is that the cool one?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool for us. It's not cool for like society.
True. Fair. Okay.
We live
And that
in
is awesome.
society.
Nice.
All right, let's go with Tetsu character.
Tetsu. All right, so Tetsu basically unlocking the monk Butu mindset and deciding to go a little more ham in terms of just how he approaches some of his problems. He has enhanced his critical hit abilities to where whenever he crits because of a feature, I now get to do. I have a corroding crit, so I do 1d8 for every 3 levels of extra damage whenever I crit, which makes my crits
Ouch.
just bonkers. And then, to make sure I hit, even though I already am hitting on EAC, I figure, why not just knock them down when I punch them too? So whenever I crit, I also automatically knock them down. No save, no collect 200 at go, you just get knocked down.
What if you're immune
and
to being knocked down?
you get knocked down, and you don't get up again.
Then
Waffles
Uh-huh.
is-
knock you down.
But yeah, that's basically it. Other than that, Tetsu just got even beefier, and now I think it's like 132 points between stamina and hit points, and yeah, I'm a thick Tetsu.
Amazing.
Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna do Moat real quick. So Moat
Not in
got
here.
a feat called Sky Jockey. Gives them extra speed when flying using tech.
Oh,
It's a
no, I'm so sorry. That doesn't quite sound like Moat.
Yeah, I'm not feeling
Okay, I'm gonna get dead fast.
Wow.
All right.
Wow,
No,
it's-
don't get the DM on your bedside. I'm sorry. Continue.
Mo didn't level up. All right, Aizen, your turn.
All right, we'll tell Coop.
Yeah, mine
Who
is
do you
super
level?
easy. I got a class feature called Nimble Juggernaut, which basically allows me to ignore my armor class penalty and movement speed reduction for certain levels of armor. So that's really easy. I'm now super. I can now use heavy armor super well. It's great. And for my general feat, sorry, there was a message just sent to Moat. I just saw that. For my general feat, I picked up a skill called Skill Synergy, which basically allows you to pick two class skills and say they're connected, and basically you can either get bonuses to them or make them class skills. So in this case, I picked Diplomacy and Stealth. I'm calling it the Servants package, and I get them both as class skills, which is great for when I'm on trial.
Nice. That is pretty
Sure.
good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Zeha, what'd you get?
Oh boy. Okay. So I've always been a little bit wonky with these level ups because I took that one envoy level up a while back. So even though I'm 7 character level, I'm 6 in Technomancer. So what does that mean? What does that mean? So I still get the feat. For the feat, this is pretty darn cool. I took Amplified Glitch. Amplified Glitch basically means I can fuck around with a bunch of people. And all like the technological devices that are like in their area, and I can daisy chain this to literally a bunch of people as long as they're within 30 feet of each other. So like all of the technological items that are around them will start going off, blaring, making noises, and it induces some status effects. So that I think could be really useful if it ever comes up. Additionally, so 6 for Technomancer. My spell cache has been upgraded to a spell capacitor. Now, after some discussion with Waffles, we made this a little bit wiggly, as I will call it, because of the. We decided basically that the effects that we're doing for my cache capacitor have to do with the study that I took at the magical university that I can never pronounce during my downtime on Absalom. So for me, for both a boon for doing this extra study and all of this stuff, my spell cache basically now can cast a single spell into my spell cache and have it affect me continuously for 24 hours, which is amazing. So I can do things like disguise self for 24 hours and keen senses and things like that. So there's a limit as to what spells I can use, but it's pretty darn cool. Then of course I got some new spells, which I like to show off in story, so we're gonna wait.
Sounds good to me.
All out.
All right, let's start our little story here. Let's pick up with Tetsu.
Ring ring.
Tetsu, are you calling right now?
Well, yeah. So we were talking in in the doctor's office, and Tetsu would be like kind of grabbing Dr. Len's phone and be kind of like looking at it, having Len saying that he basically wanted Tetsu to call the Telus Corporation back.
As
and,
my lawyer.
Yeah, and Tetsu kind of just picks up the phone, goes, I'm sorry about it before. Do you want to go with Bloodbelly?
Yeah, I think we should definitely go with Bloodbelly. That's what I introduced myself to them as when they called. I didn't give away my name, but they seemed convinced.
They.
That it was me, Len. Like,
Oh, yeah. I was going to say there's no way they called your personal phone. Didn't know it was.
no, that was my drug phone. They called my drug phone.
Oh. They know it's you. Very well. I will call them. And he kind of looks at the phone and goes, "Which number is theirs?"
That the most recent, the history. Just go to the history and click the most recent one.
No, no.
I didn't know.
Just click over there, and then so it's the no. You scroll down too far. Just
No, don't open my
you
pictures.
closed it.
Oh God! Oh God!
no,
the
don't
pictures.
delete that. Oh, you deleted it.
So yeah, Tetsu will hit the most recent, the callback feature basically, and just call up the Telus Corporation, whatever number they called us from.
No big deal.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah, it rings 3-4 times. Then you hear someone pick up. Hello. This is the Telus Corporation.
What are they
Well,
saying?
He kind of pushes Dr. Len away and goes, "I'm calling on behalf of Bloodbelly. You contacted him a short while ago?"
Dr. Lin, you mean?
Yes, Bloodbelly. I'm calling to make sure that you understand his position. Are you the one in charge of dealing with this with the Telus Corporation?
I can speak. Yes. What is your position?
My position is that whatever complaints you have about the business that Dr. Lin or Bloodbelly or whoever you think is operating here, none of your business. If you want to have a problem with it, you are free to. That will be dealt with. Is this very much understood? It can be very costly for you to decide to step into where you are not wanted.
We ask them what they want. Ask them what they want.
Kind of just ignores him for a second, then goes, "Why are you contacting Bloodbelly?"
Make an intimidation check first.
Ooh, intimidation. I'm scared.
It's gonna be at a
Natural one.
it's gonna be at a -4.
-4.
Yeah, it's over the phone. They don't really have much reason to be scared of you.
Well, it was a 21, so
I'm gonna kill you through this
17.
Okay.
17, yeah. Not bad.
For sure. Yeah, you hear a small pause, and eventually you hear them speak back up. Is this the large blue one or the one with the horn?
They're
We'll
watching.
find out when you decide to interfere. What
Very
is
well.
it you want from the Blood Bill?
We would like for him to stop committing illegal actions within the pact.
Understood. Do not contact us again. Thank you.
Very well.
He just hangs up.
And that's,
All right.
kids, how you take a situation from bad to worse.
Tetsu, I like the firm's stance, but they're probably just gonna call the police now.
Dr. Len. Dr. Len, I have a question. You have
Yeah.
a gun. You have a gun to Crick in the warehouse. You
Well,
are
no,
trading it-
he's just there to intimidate. Like, because Crick was making drugs without gloves on, and that's really bad. And that's not the point. What? How is that supposed to get the Telus off our backs? Like,
Dr. Len, you have a gun to Crick's back to make drugs. Drugs that are illegal to produce and sell, at the very least, depending on what kind of drugs are you selling?
well, the combat enhancers.
Then very illegal to sell to most people. So, you're probably selling to the people that are illegal to sell to. So you've already decided to do all the illegal things. You are in trouble. Anybody can call the cops on you. You can get in a lot of trouble at any point. The Telus Corporation already does not like you and wants you gone. This is just another tool they are going to use against you. Therefore, it does not matter that they're angry at you. The only way to do anything about them is confronting them.
But
You have chosen the violent path.
their resource. This is a small startup. Their resources are far beyond
He holds up the
anything I
phone.
can.
Do you see this?
Yeah.
They have called this number. They have identified me on it. They know that I work with you. They know who you are. They probably know where you are. They've invested the money to make sure that this small operation does not grow. This is called weeding out the competition. Big organizations do this all the time in absence. That is where I came from. I came from a very small group when I got left after Dr. Duro. And then I got absorbed into a bigger gang and a bigger gang until I finally ran into somebody I want to not deal with.
Dr. Lin, give me a intelligence check.
Boy, will I. Natural 5 for a 9. All the text is like highlighted in purple in dark mode. That's weird.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
That's us.
Actually, can I re-roll that? I have hero points out the butt.
Sure, go for it.
Not more than 3.
22.
Okay.
Actually,
based
I have
on
3.5 because Waffles gave me half a hero point that one time.
Oh, sorry. Once you got to 3, it doesn't go over. You lost that half.
Womp womp.
Okay, I'll delete it.
Okay. Yeah. You thinking about the Tillis Corporation and something Tetsu just said about weeding out the competition. It strikes you to make perfect sense that they are probably supplying drugs within the Pact Worlds. And you're cutting into their money.
We would have been spot fucking on, by the way, of like putting the other two in contact with the Tellus. Like we would have been right on point.
Yeah, you're right. This is cutting them out of their market. It's hard work, good startup. Yes, screw the Talos Corporation.
Well, yes, but that was also the bad news. They're going to be really, really mad. Before, they just were annoyed by your existence. Now they're going to kill you. And he kind of claps him on the shoulder area of what a jellyfish would have.
I thought the Talos Corporation were going to kill me for the last... ever since I left Primoria. So that's not very different.
I mean this in a bad way, but you probably weren't very important to them at that point. You were already functionally dead.
Len kind of freezes up when you say that. I mean, I did some important things.
Did you?
So I came...
The adaptation virus, right?
Yeah, you did some useful things.
Oh wait, you had already done that. Yeah. Tetsu kind of just gives you a nod of, sure, buddy, sure. And then kind of goes to sit down in the chair opposite of your chair and goes, I heard you were doing this and I want to help make sure that you're successful. I think we need to talk to Zeha, but
well, she's not gonna help us. She doesn't understand how it is on the streets, and she's just gonna walk out first chance she gets again for the third time.
Dr. Len, you know how it works on the streets either.
Well, I know how it works on the streets more than Zeha, so.
Since when has that been a goal?
What do you have spread around your room, Dr. Lin? Around your office? You have any
paperwork?
Go ahead.
There is paperwork. There's some crates of like the red eye that are by his desk, like because he inspects every single vial. He has his MD up on the wall. But otherwise, it's kind of barren. Like he's not really like an interior decoration person.
Okay. And what do you think Tetsu got told about all this? Like, do you know? And although party can answer if y'all have spoken to him, but like, do you know like what went down, why Dr. Lynn's making drugs, or like any of that?
No, I think basically Zeha had mentioned that he's involved in drugs and crime stuff and like left it vague, and Tetsu was just like, that's what I wanted to do when I came back here, and then walked in and saw Crick making drugs.
Okay. Give me a 1d100. You can pick 5%.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Sure, that'll work out. All right,
That's
we'll do one through 5.
What is that? That's just like picking one number.
It's a 1d20.
Yeah,
It might happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can happen. Oh, I should have gone with the best number ever. It's a 69. So
Right.
no, I didn't succeed.
Okay. Easy.
All right. Then yeah, Tetsu just kind of like I forgot what the last thing I said was. But yeah, he kind of just sits there a moment and goes, I used to do this kind of stuff when I was still figuring out being aware of things, gaining my sentience and what that meant to me. That is how I met some people I don't enjoy having in this world. Bad folk. I liked aspects of this life. I like fighting. I don't like hurting people, but I like fighting.
Tetsu's retiring to be a drug.
He needs a stable income.
I liked the rougher lifestyle. I liked the being a bouncer at rough bars and dealing with people who were different. But now I need to get back into that side of the life so that I can deal with somebody who is truly, truly horrible. Who took Tibble.
Tetsu told Len about like Kazcon and stuff when he got here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the... I told a little bit about it. Yeah. That Tibble got taken and there is somebody I'm after. I believe I said.
Yeah, then... Yeah, doesn't get rougher than this side of Absalom.
This side is
Yeah,
not very bad.
Seriously?
This is the nice side.
You're kidding.
Or this is the not that bad side, yes.
Dr. Lynn's
Okay.
Dr. Lynn's that rich son that thinks he's doing something bad, but it's like he's just skateboarding and stuck a stick in someone's bicycle or something. Like he's like
He's in the
I'm
low
bad.
middle income neighborhood, like, it's kind of rough out here, man.
So
No.
making drugs, pointing guns to people's heads and things like
Yeah.
that's not that bad.
It's
Okay,
crazy.
just checking.
Yes, thank you. I was like,
He's
let's-
the bad one.
like we're at least at like white collar crime level here.
Yeah,
if
we're-
not-
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Together.
I'm just saying, like, nobody's strung up by their ankles getting electrocuted currently. Not until
You didn't
we
even
get
see
into
the
it.
torture room, so...
Oh, alright, well.
If Crick doesn't follow safety protocols properly, we'll see how that goes.
Put your gloves on!
When we
But yeah,
made our
so-
characters, did you when we asked everybody the question of like what what characters in TV or other mainstream medias that you identify your character with, and I didn't see the Breaking
Heisenberg?
Bad series
I
entirety.
left one out.
there?
You know,
Okay. Just
He's changed a lot.
We've
Yeah,
done
it's all
this
your
to him,
fault,
really.
Zeha.
Yeah, we
Okay.
changed him. Yeah, it's our fault, really.
Is that convo over basically?
Len just wanted to ask,
What happen?
so are we going to hire a bunch more guys with guns, or...
We need to definitely improve your protection crew. and we need to make a move towards somebody. We need to be bigger, and we need to not be an easy target.
Okay.
So
I've started to
think
do
we
some
need to
market research.
okay, we need to find another small crew and work on getting them to join up with us one way or another. So either somebody who's really bad and we won't feel is bad to get rid of, and then we can incorporate the people who don't suck. Or somebody who's not too bad, like Crick, and get them to join. Also, please stop pointing a gun at me.
No, he's not even pointing the gun at him. He's just like saying, "Crick, put your gloves on," and like maybe he's putting his hand on the gun. Like, Crick is happy to be here. Crick was overjoyed I offered.
You're going to have to remove that person from pointing the gun at me.
Okay. I will. Crick will not have a gun pointed at him.
A taser, but not a gun.
A rocket
and with,
launcher.
And with that, I think Tetsu would start like trying to figure out what the hell Len's been up to and like understand where Len's at so you can figure out like what do next. Because Tetsu, surprisingly, despite how he acts, is actually pretty smart, and this was his lifestyle for a while, so he watched from the shadows most of the time because he was more of the bodyguard, like muscled guy, but like he was smart enough to pick up on it, so now he's like, all right, I gotta do the things they did, but not be a complete asshole about it.
For sure.
You know, good crime.
Yeah. All right. Y'all can start thinking. Obviously, we're sitting here going through time passing and stuff. So y'all think about like the direction you want your characters to head, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, everything's kind of fluid. If at any point you decide that, I think after 2 days I would have had a convo with Zeha, like we can always go back in time and stuff.
I was gonna say that night, like the plan is like in the next little bit was to text like Zeha, hey, let's meet up and have like lunch kind of like basically Tetsu's gonna text her like a bar to go to for like her, Len, and him to meet up that maybe isn't, you know, an upscale bar, somewhere a little shadier where they can have like a quiet conversation in a place that makes Zeha uncomfortable and Len maybe out of place.
I text back the location of the place I met with Taya.
That was not an upscale bar though?
No, but it was
No.
somewhere that I was at
right?
least relatively comfortable with.
Yeah, it's like as upscale as a dive bar can get, really.
Okay.
Like it's definitely divey, but it's not dirty or grungy, and you don't think you're gonna get stabbed.
And I've had the time to like scope it out already.
Yeah.
All right, Tetsu will
but
allow that.
prior to that, after Tetsu left, I was going to go find Dr. Len's friend to have a conversation with her.
Saana.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean she's easy enough to find.
I'll like
Going
bring her
behind my back.
I just bring her up to like the Starfinder like penthouse that we have, right? And I just, I offer her some tea.
Wait, I have a question. Is there another occupant of the penthouse currently?
No.
Is that where Duro is? No? Okay.
Oh.
I don't think so, because you and Moat had always stayed on the ship, so I imagine you don't have a lot of access to the penthouse, so I figure you put Duro somewhere else.
We stayed there once, right after we got came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when
I
all
just
the
want to
calls
make sure.
happened at one time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she'll come up there and she small talk explains that she's like in between runs, just waiting for the next thing, but enjoying her time in Absalom way better than Casterville.
I'm glad to hear that. If you don't mind my asking,
Sure.
I'm a little concerned for Dr. Len. I know you've known him for far longer than I have, and I believe that my attempts at a conversation might have just pushed him further away. So I thought perhaps, to be open and honest, I could talk to you and perhaps garner a little bit of insight and understand your take in this, because really this revolves around you.
She gives a sheepish smile and says, "Yeah, if he does get like this, it is hard to speak. I think this is a little worse than I've ever seen, though. It's probably a combination of the fact that I'm in danger, but then he's also letting me run the drugs. But that, as well as I just think she like stops herself. Has he had a place with you all?
Well, he's been our doctor. He's saved Moat's life. He's saved mine. He's healed us from the adaptation serums. I guess I would say, like, he's saved us from diseases, and I would hope that he feels both that he has a place amongst us and a usefulness.
Do you think he knows that?
That brings up an interesting point, because when I've tried to show any kind of graces to him, I've noted that it makes him rather uncomfortable.
She nods. Yeah, there's a interesting place of he doesn't want friends, but he needs to be wanted. You know?
No, of course.
I don't know if he's told you the story of his past, but
Yes, I'm aware of a deep betrayal that I'm sure has carved a pit that is hard for us to cross.
as well as losing his basic goal in life, you know?
What would you say that was before everything?
When I knew him, it was to be a doctor, help people. But she stops for a second. Is there anything that you want? Like, as a person?
Yes, of course. And they shift and change every day, but I suppose one thing remains, which is to make my grandmother proud.
And she's like rocking on her heels. Just stops and gets serious for a second. And if you lost that, and the closest person to you,
I understand. And I appreciate the insight.
yeah, I'm just trying to help. I don't think I am in a position currently to be close to him. Right now, I'm a liability and a worker.
I actually disagree. I think you have quite the grounds because you're more involved in his operations. He views me and any negative on the business that I impose as me simply wanting nothing to do with it. He thinks that I'm abandoning him from it. You're involved and come from a place where you're not able, I kind of glance at her shoulder, to leave it. I think if you come from a place of honesty in that front and concern for him, perhaps he'd listen.
Can try, for sure. What if you did the same, though? Why don't you want to help? Do you think he would help you with something equally dangerous?
Unfortunately, I don't have that option. As much as I would love to throw everything away, you asked about goals, and I do have some that I need to finish for the safety of everyone I've ever known. And while I care for this group and Dr. Len, I've been trained my whole life to make those difficult decisions.
She just kind of purses her lips and nods. Well, I can try, but I don't expect it'll go anywhere from me currently.
Well, it's worth a shot.
And for what it matters, thank you.
Of course. And just remember that you have a decision in this, and I kind of point to, like, my own shoulder as well. It's your life, and the risk is on no one else's to take.
If anyone was gonna do it, it would have to be a skilled doctor. And I think if he caused my death. And she just stops.
Yes. I will kind of like gears start turning in Zeha's head. Thank you. I'll think on that.
She nods and like almost awkwardly like begins to make her way to the door to like leave the place. Like, okay, I came up here for a meeting and now the meeting's done.
Yeah. Fair. I think I'm trying to see if there's anything I could do, but no, there isn't. Okay.
Gonna cast a spell on her?
I was thinking about it. Out of sheer curiosity, though, could I cast Detect Affliction?
On her?
Yep.
Yeah, you want to ping the spell description so I can know what to give you?
Absolutely. If I know how to do that. Did it work? It worked.
It did work.
Basically, poison, disease, curse, or suffering a similar affliction.
For sure.
Because I've already done Detect Magic on her and recognized that there was like that same kind of like mix, I think, of tech and magic in her.
Yeah. Give me a mysticism check. Actually, sorry. Give me an intelligence check.
Flat intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be a 13.
You have no clue what's going on with her.
Okay. I was thinking about hero pointing, but I have the answer already, so that's cool.
Okay. She walks out.
Yes, that's fine.
Walk.
And obviously this was just to set the scene, like this was a spell, she knows you cast it on her, etc. She was fine with it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for Zeha to do?
I think I forget what I did last time in communication with home, but I think I did message her mother, and I think that for a second I heard like a doorbell, but then I realized the music changed. I think what I'll do is I'll like coordinate in the meantime and just make sure that I'm like, you know, hold any council meetings, let's schedule a time for my return, let's kind of, I'm trying to do as best I can without being out front about it to like hold off on any major decisions from anybody.
Sure.
Things will be changing soon, like that kind of hinting.
Yeah. You get messages back of like, yes, we can attempt to. There's a lot going on here right now. And your tempering is over in approximately 2 months. Because time has been passing pretty quickly, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. And then you get one passing line, very your mother, of it's not always great to wait till the last minute.
For sure. Obviously I don't reply to it, but it is noted. I think because time has been wibbly wobbly right now. Given that there's 2 months from now, I will give like the next 2 weeks to identify if we hear anything from Aizen or Moat, and make sure that they're at the very least like coming back safe. That's kind of where she wants to keep a beat on that before she decides to announce that she's leaving.
Okay. Sounds good. Aizen,
You're
you
unconscious.
wake up. Moat is no longer in the cell across from you.
Mm-hmm.
He's at a concert.
He's at a concert.
There's just a poster that's been ripped off the wall in like a hole where he's just dug his way out.
It's like, oh, it's great that they put this hole here for me. I'm going to the concert. Bye. But yeah, you are alone for at least a second. Any passing thoughts or anything Aizen does?
How clear-headed am I? Because like I was literally in the middle of speaking and then was racked with severe pain enough that I fell unconscious. Like, what is my state as I am waking up here?
Interestingly, like you're like obviously you know that you were unconscious and stuff, but like you don't feel like harmed. You're not like exhausted or like dazed or dazzled or anything. You're like, oh man, like that was disorienting. That's about as far as it goes.
Okay.
Like you feel relatively great for what just happened.
In that case, then I think Aizen is even more disconcerted than he would have been if he was like actively needed to recover. And seeing
For
that Moat is not there, he is definitely freaked out and on guard. But because they are separated by force fields and there's nothing he can really do other than look around for like, was he zapped by anything? Was anything going on? He really can't do anything because he definitely felt it come from internal. Like, the internal energy was leaking out of him. He knows that much. And he doesn't know where Moat was, so he's just kind of freaking out, trying to regather himself.
You see a little pile of dust from one of your electric zaps that just incinerated Moat. No, I'm just kidding. You
buddy.
sit there for a second, kind of internalizing everything. And eventually, 2 Shimrins come up, kind of stand in front of your door. One of them speaks up and says, your trial is expected soon. Do you have any questions?
Where is he? Or where are they? That's the correct term.
For sure. They have been moved. They're safe. They will likely continue to be safe unless something in your trial proves that they are the mastermind behind this, but I don't expect it. You are both of the Starfinder Society. We have passed with you. We do not with them. They will be safe.
Do I have the right to counsel, or to at least know what charges I'm being put on trial for before the trial?
Sure. Would you like us to get you a list or give you a quick rundown?
I am willing to cooperate in whatever means you have available.
Very well. The main charge, as you know, will be desertion. The secondary and third charges will be aiding to the kidnapping of the Queen of Casterville, as well as aiding to the kidnapping of Hikari.
Oh my god.
Like, the first one he expected, so there was no, like, obvious reaction. The second one was one of more curiosity crossed his face, because as far as he was aware, he never showed up on camera, and he made very specific motions that he never showed up on camera. And then the third is just like goes completely to disgust of like, that is not possible, and you know that's not possible, and I am disgusted that you would even state that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you without a roll, like, you know that's like they use that to get you here,
Yes,
and yet they're charging you with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the point of disgust, is he knows that's exactly what that is.
For sure. But that's what they say.
What about my right to counsel? Even criminals have the right to communicate. Can I choose who I would talk to before this trial, or do I have to go in unopposed? I don't know what degree the council has taken interest in this case.
Would you like to counsel someone on Shimrin?
I would. Internally, he was thinking I would have picked Hikari, because he like this is a statement that says either she is actually kidnapped or that the government is actually holding her, and so even if he asked for her, they wouldn't tip their hand and show it. So I think what he's going to do here is he's going to ask and say, I want Kaze. You used him, and so I believe I'd like to have a conversation with him, at the very least as my counsel.
You see them exchange a glance real quick. They sit there for a second. One of them holds up their hands as the other walks away, and the one that's holding up their hand says, "We will have to ask express permission for you to be able to speak with someone on the council that would be deeming you innocent or guilty." And that's an upgrade for Kaze.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Agreed. So long as I can believe in their neutrality, I'm amenable to this.
That is for you to decide or disagree with. I cannot speak for Kaze.
When he was upgraded to the council position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Okay.
yeah, you're not used to
Fine.
Kaze be like sitting councils to innocence and guilt and stuff.
No, and he'd active like from the time that I've spent with him, he wouldn't want that seat.
Yeah.
So like, why did he take it? Okay.
Yep.
And then when they were talking, did it seem like they were talking to like an earpiece, like they were having a conversation with somebody else, or like magical communication, or they were just thinking? What was that like?
They're just kind of thinking, and they looked at each other. They were exchanging a glance of like, should we even allow this? And then through that look, like nonverbal communication, they decided, sure, it's Aizen. Let's at least ask.
All right. And then from that statement, it seems at least the guards are playing this fair. Besides the fact that they stated what my crimes are, and one of them is bunk.
Yeah.
They're actually treating me well.
Thus far, you think the guards are like as neutral as it comes. They don't feel sorry for you. They're not here to break you out, but they're also not. They don't consider you super guilty either. Like you're not a criminal.
Yeah. Will this be a full meeting of the council to see my judgment, or just a select few? You don't have to give names, of course.
It will be 5 members.
And then Aizen would know this, but I do not. Is that a full meeting of the council, or is just?
That's what we would call like a half meeting. It's
Okay.
usually 9.
All right, perfect.
And you're getting 5, and obviously it's odd numbers for votes and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
And 4 to keep running.
Benefit is that you definitely have like a +1 to whatever checks you're gonna be doing, because they're all gonna be distracted, like secretly watching the live stream of the Shimrinsara concert.
Oh.
See, but they put that on purpose to distract people from what's actually going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so,
Well, that's where they sent
Take
vote.
your
It's like
tinfoil hat
that's
off.
the only way they get it live streamed is Wasp sending it in.
There you go.
Yeah, Moat's on a work release.
Yep.
okay. Once they leave, he'll like try to actively recollect himself and figure out what's going on. He will also check his shoulder that Kaze tapped him twice on, just to like, Kaze slip him any sort of notes or anything? He, like, as he's going through his mind, he realizes that like Kaze very specifically made a motion to touch him twice, in intense situations, and he just wants to check if there's anything there that he missed.
For sure.
Right in the
Give
crack.
me a... What's insight here? Sense motive?
Sense motive,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a is it proactive? Sense motive?
Retroactive.
Retroactive, that's what I'm saying. So let's do it at a -3.
Oh, so it's just -2 then.
There's like a rock stabbed into you that's just carved with like,
4.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
Subtle.
4.
4?
So no.
Yeah, I mean, a tense situation, he touched you. It's
Yeah.
probably just like, what's up, man?
Yeah, and we were both equally, tense, so that makes sense.
Yeah, the biggest thing that makes sense in your head is he knew he was about to throw you in a jail cell, and he just wanted to give you one last friend
Yeah.
pat.
Yeah.
Good old friend pet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they said soon. You know that usually means within the day. So you probably have some waiting going on, but that's really all you're doing.
He's going to meditate for the time being because his energy feels different and he needs to readjust himself.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought of something else that I wanted to do.
Okay.
But
Don't do it.
let me know if that's now or later.
As perfect now because I was gonna skip to the meeting of all of y'all.
Perfect. So I double checked, and Tetsu kind of let Zeha know briefly that what happened on his mission, they took Tibble and he brought the doctor back, kind of a deal. So I would love to. Again, this is kind of before the Tetsu and Dr. Len meeting. With a quick set of texts to Arvin. See if I can't figure out where Dr. Duro is and have a conversation.
I knew you were going to do
Okay.
that.
You're gonna hold him hostage.
Are you planning any kind of meeting if it's not going great? What's the main purpose of this?
Sure. So what I would love to do is
Train.
to see, because I've heard about Dr. Duro in terms of what Tetsu has said, which is just he made me, I think, or something vague like that. And I know that Tetsu's unique. So I was thinking if we need a skilled doctor to potentially do this surgery on Saana, if Dr. Duro was of sound mind and skilled enough to do that, and I want to personally interview him and just kind of see what his status is.
Okay. Yeah, you get a couple of texts in. It doesn't seem like Arvin wants to budge, but you also know Arvin and everything that's kind of went down, and he is definitely in a position to budge. It just matters how well you roll on diplomacy / what you can give Arvin in return to Arvin breaking the trust of somebody.
Yeah, he's going to just do me like that?
Why would Arvin care if I'm on, with Tetsu on the same team kind of a deal?
Let me take that back real quick. Tetsu, don't metagame it.
No, I know.
But did you tell Arvin to keep Duro a secret, including from your own party members?
Tetsu wouldn't have specified about own party, but Tetsu did bring him back and just said, hey, he needs to be safe and out of the way, and he didn't, even tell Arvin who he was. He just said, friend needs safe,
For sure.
So I think there's an implicit, hey, don't tell people stuff, but, Arvin is also a shady diplomat douche.
I probably would
For
also
sure.
be specifying, Tetsu's package, where was it delivered, that kind of shit.
Sure. The main thing you get back initially is what's the purpose?
Saving lives. Smiley face.
Whose question mark smiley face?
Oh no, emotes.
I kind of don't like this paper trail that's happening here.
Sure.
So I'd probably at this point, because I'm in the complex, just swing by his office for ease.
Okay.
But then I would just kind of say Dr. Len's friend. I don't believe that having Starfinder members into the drug trade and rising ambitions on that front is necessarily best for the Starfinders, and I'm hoping to find an alternative route before that gets out of control.
All right, I'm gonna take a step back here, out of character with everyone. Did Arvin know about the drug trade? I don't think he did.
Not that
I
I'm
don't
aware of.
think it was. So you,
I think that
Yeah.
very.
so I like. I've had it in my mind that Arvin hasn't known, and if he does know, there's like I know what's gonna happen.
so
So I'll.
I think it
like,
wasn't
you can-
explicitly told any.
I recall Dr. Len going to Arvin and asking for either funds or a place or something like that. Like, I remember that being a thing of, like, is that somewhere, like, can we find somewhere that the Starfinder gives? But I don't know if that actually happened or not. Was that just discussed?
It was definitely just discussed because you found the place.
He's very specifically didn't want anywhere on the map that the Starfinder Society would know, that I remember.
Yeah, maybe it was discussed. I honestly can't remember that, but if it was, I can almost guarantee it wasn't like, can I have a place to make drugs? It was,
Yeah.
can I have a secret place? That was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Caliban also like on the down low because like hey he was helping out, like helped situate you guys, like helped with that, and I don't think he necessarily told Arvin details other than
Sure,
omitted
so
Let me
I'm-
reapproach it then.
Yeah, I'm down to retcon. I just want to make sure of that.
Thank you.
Arvin, Len's making sure.
It's been there was a slight gap in between sessions.
So
Gap.
I guess I would kind of just start off and be like, what's the general Starfinder rule on
Do not do it.
breaking the law? Because I see you don't seem to quite mind harboring fugitives.
He gives a wry smile at the harboring fugitives comment and says, if it is beneficial for us and cannot be traced back, just kind of shrugs.
I nod, and kind of like, I was like standing at the door, kind of like, not with the door open, but like leaning against the back of the door, and then kind of like approach. So for the good of the Starfinder Society.
As he does, he parts his face already.
And to ensure things don't get traced back, I have a concern. And I think this package of Tetsu's could help in realigning some people's mindsets and keeping things from going beyond of the confines of what's in the Starfinder's best interest.
He kind of peers his eyes a little. And you get the sense he's like deciding if he should question or not. Rolls his eyes for a second, says, okay. And how would this package help? Would it realign thoughts?
It would provide alternative solutions to questionable decisions. If this package is not been damaged in transit.
Slightly damaged in transit.
I was
What
ready
is
to
he-
speak, but Tetsu's got me laughing here. That face.
Tetsu's just
He-
breaking legs and being like, you'll fit.
He lets out a small sigh and... Are you sure that even undamaged, this package would not present more problems?
Fortunately, I don't know without speaking to them. What concerns do you have?
He just shakes his head slightly. You can speak to them. Let me know before any decisions are made. I will either sign off on them or not.
Of course.
He nods and gives you the room number. Gives you a key. He
gonna
also
kill my
tells
dad.
you. He also tells you that if anything should happen, that you will be liable, and that
To Dr. Duro in this case?
yes,
Okay.
to the person you're going to see, that like no one else really knows where they are, and that he reminds you with kind of a wry smile of air quote proper protocol of this person will be moved after this, so bring back the key.
Right. And I will kind of grab the key, nod, and then before turning to the door, I pause and come back, and I'm just like, and don't worry. I think our partnership lies on a foundation of good reputation for amongst the both of us. So if this doesn't fix the problem, I'll be sure to let you know before it becomes a problem for you. And I'll go.
He nods. Yeah, Arvin and Zeha are two peas in a pod.
Mm-hmm.
What a
It's gonna be
shift.
real unfortunate when we have to bury her.
Shady front
And
faces.
him, don't forget.
Arvin we can work with.
I
He hasn't
started this
betrayed us.
campaign being like Starfinder Society, and I'm sticking with it.
You're a traitor to the cause and the drug empire.
What cause? What cause? You just
Drug empire.
destroying
Drug
your
cause.
life?
My
Zeha,
life's
you don't
gone.
know what's best
It's not
for
your
us,
life.
okay?
All right. Real quick, no rush, obviously. Like, you don't have to rush it. But since this is happening before the meeting, Zeha, you find yourself at Dr. Duro's door.
Let's see. And our meeting is the following day, right? Like we planned it. You said you texted me that evening
No,
for
it was, I texted you for a meeting that night.
Yeah.
Because you
We'll
said
say
you
it's
wanted to meet ASAP.
We'll say it's like tonight. Like, we'll say it's like 5 p.m. and your meeting's at like 8 or 9. Like, you
Yeah, I was
have
gonna say,
time
it's
to
definitely
have a
9.
combo.
Yeah, like this is gangster style. So like everything's at night and shady, you know.
Gross.
At 3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m. in the club.
I'm trying to think if I want to use any of my special abilities here.
Oh, you're gonna magic my sordid dad?
Yeah, of course.
I hope he kills you. He just gives you a tea that's laced with all the lint drip.
All right. Well, I kind of walk in. I give a slight knock on the door.
It opens eerily fast. You're like third knock coming, and it opens, and he's like, "Yes."
Did you hear me coming?
I had a feeling.
I smile. I walk in and kind of shut the door behind. I'm Tetsu's friend.
He's standing by the door.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll wave him in. Please take a seat.
Okay. He moseys over very slowly. But he does sit down.
Can I look him over to figure out what that's about? Can he
Sure.
move fast and he's hiding this? And is this a show?
He is
Yeah.
Yoda.
Give me a sense motive.
Is this gathering information to make it culture?
No.
No. Okay. Hold on.
She put points on only one skill, and damn it, she's gonna use it.
Well, yeah, because I could do my latest. Do you know who I am? Was when I'm gathering information, I can roll culture instead of perception as well, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, 21. That's not bad.
Okay. He definitely doesn't look like the normal old man that you're used to seeing. Like, he's not. It's not like he needs a cane or a walker to move. He is taking his time as if something between lazy and not caring.
Okay, but I think that he could move as fast as he moved before.
Well, I don't know what you mean by move before, but yeah.
To the door.
I mean, he might have been at the door, but yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm Tetsu's friend, and I heard from him that he brought you back from the latest mission.
Is he okay?
From what I know, I went to go see another one of our members. You're a doctor, right?
To make it clear, he continues ignoring your questions and says, is he going after the one he lost?
As he only recently got back, I'm not yet aware what his future plans are.
He nods and then says, sure, I am a doctor.
It's my understanding that you made Tetsu what he is today. We have need for another fine operation, potentially. And I'd be very curious to see if that's something that you would be willing to help us all out with.
And what would I get out of it?
To be honest, helping Tetsu.
You see him thinking on it a moment. Kind of this something between a wry smile and like an almost senile smile crosses his face. He says, I'm not quite one for fine experiments. Tetsu is not what I would call that. But I can take a look, see if it interests me.
Life or death interest you? What's the scale?
Not really. The person, the situation, what would have to be done. If it's fun.
Yeah, I would love to kind of do another kind of like using my backgrounds. Do I think a tactic of like, oh, I guess you just aren't talented enough to do it style? Would that work on him? Because you said like the senile smile, like I would just kind of.
Give me a, let's go diplomacy.
26.
Okay. No, you don't. You don't think that would work on him at all. You think he's very front facing, as odd and off-putting as he is. You think that if it interests him, he'll care. If not, he won't care, and if he's made to do it, he'll probably just kill her.
Right.
Like if he's forced to do it and he doesn't, and it's not interesting to him.
Right. Very well. This was more of a interest to see if it was something you were skilled to accomplish, less about the motivations. I will leave that up to those that are involved.
I understand. I am willing to look at it, and if it does interest me, sure. If it doesn't, then I'm free to come back up here and he looks around, enjoy my new jail cell.
I was curious what your motivations are now that you're out of one box and in another.
Not too many. We'll see what that smooth talker has for me. He's referring to Arvin. It seems I am meant to be useful eventually, but until then, here I am.
I'd be so curious to try this, but I don't think it's the right time.
Do it.
I'll hack in. No. Um,
Hack into his brain.
yeah. So I'm trying to think if there's like anything, because my brain's not there right now. But like I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can, that it would make sense for Zeha to kind of like do. So was your escape something you were looking forward to?
If it were anyone else, no. But since it was Tetsu, yes.
Interesting. Very well. It was a pleasure to meet you. I think Tetsu looks up to you somewhat. I like go to say something else, don't nod and go to head out. You'll be changing rooms shortly if you have things together. Close the door.
And you hear like a I don't as the door closes.
For sure. Okay.
Okay. Feel free to let me know how you follow that up with Arvin / anyone else.
I bring the key
But-
back.
Okay, that's it. You don't like say anything about it, really?
No.
Okay. Sorry, as a GM, I couldn't be more helpful there, but
No, that's
it is Dr. Dura. So.
It's more my brain like not knowing quite what tactic to go for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, how to
which I thi-
manipulate my dad.
Which I think speaks to like, I think like makes for the perfect scene and speaks to it as in like I don't know if Zeha would know what tactic to use on someone like Dr. Duro either.
Yeah.
He was very off-putting, but Zeha knows what to use on a lot of people.
Sure. And I think also it's like what information am I really trying to get out of it? Like the answer of just like if I feel like it kind of a deal made her realize like what she's working with here. It's someone that needs to be motivated to do this. You know, like what all are the factors in play here to make something like this happen. But I think she did get her answer that he is skilled enough to do that he seems to be on point in that sense.
For sure. Okay. Let's do a quick meeting here.
I'm sure it'll be quick.
I'm sure it will too. You all head to this little dive bar. Have a nice little corner booth.
One thing I would want to do is to bring along the guy who's had a gun to Crick's back and the shitty door guard.
Okay.
As basically like lookouts, and I want them like posted on opposite sides of the bar. And basically Tetsu has spent like the walk here discussing with them how the door guy sucks at his job and the guy with the gun needs to know that was not a cool thing to do, and that you both have to have like in the Tetsu speak, but basically you both have to have a spine if you want to keep this job. I need to trust that you're with us and we'll be with you, and you need to also like you need to know like what's wrong from like what's just kind of in that gray-ish bad area that Tetsu wants to operate in. Like Tetsu knows what we're doing is not good, but he doesn't want to be a cosmo. And so he's like trying to, in this walk and not in a very charismatic way, like start relaying some of this in the walk over to the bar.
For sure.
Extra training.
You get
like
the quick.
yeah.
You get the quick takeaway and pullback from this walk of the door guy can be reprimanded, or his name is James. That's what we're gonna call him.
Okay.
He can be reprimanded. He slightly even agrees with you that he should be doing a better job. And the one with the gun to Crick's head. No. Okay, sure. Jesse.
Yes.
Yeah, the one with the gun to Crick's head, Jesse. does not agree with you whatsoever. Says that they were listening to Dr. Lin's orders and could care less what you have to say.
Okay.
It's like me and Dr.
All right.
Dura. Okay.
You guys order some drinks, I imagine.
Yes, we're
Head
walking
over
the table.
to the dark corner table, and that's where I'm gonna make us take a break.
Oh, goddamn.
Amazing. Alrighty. Well, with that, we're gonna go ahead and take a break and refresh our drinks and stretch and all that stuff. So take care of yourselves, stretch, do whatever you need to do. We'll be back in just a little bit. We love you. Bye. And we're back.
And so there we were.
We're back. There we were in a dark bar in the corner. Ready to go.
I think
Yeah.
Zeha would be there for a while.
Prior. Okay.
Not too prior.
So you-
She had a lot of stuff.
I
to
think Dr. Lin would be there even longer before.
I don't think so, because you'd have been coming with me.
Oh.
And Tetsu had been figuring out what the hell's going on here.
Okay.
So you would've-
Any
you would've
specific
spent it-
reason to be there before Zeha, or just like flavor?
So
Zeha?
Oh, before I thought before Zeha, so I thought it was to Tetsu.
No.
No. Sorry.
Before, comma, Zeha?
Zeha, I am talking to you. I think that she, one, wants to go back and she wants to scout the place. Once again, she wants to go through. She's going to kind of quick scan over, like, she's going to just kind of walk around the room holding a drink, quick scan any technological devices to make sure that they're doing only what they're supposed to be doing, cameras, everything, and then secure
Give me a
table.
perception check.
Goes to random dive bar, finds like high-tech space base.
Right.
Very obvious assassin in black leather, just sitting at a corner booth.
With a sniper rifle pointed at you.
This is a martini.
So, is this something that I can roll
Don't look at me.
culture for instead of perception?
No. You're rolling against technology. No.
Make a perception check. Can I roll culture?
I will forever ask.
Yeah, ask away. But no.
Okay,
you're rolling
roll an
against-
attack roll. How about we do culture?
That's a nat 1. I'm going to re-roll that.
Ooh,
Natty.
spend a hero point for that? Ooh.
Hell yeah. 26. Beaches?
What's that? From a nat 1 to a nat 17. Okay. You are looking around. Everything seems to be on the up and okay.
All right, no suspicious people, everything all around. All right, I'll find a secure table.
No more. I'll throw this out there. No more suspicious than last time. Like it is a dive bar. It's like you do have like the. You can look over to the corner and be like, that's probably a drug dealer. Maybe they're putting a hit out or something. But like no one's sitting here waiting on
It's
y'all
Dr.
to
Lin.
be here.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where, like, hopefully everybody's minding their own business. And so if anybody's kind of watching me when I come in, I'm situating at a table. And every once in a while, I'll get up and talk to, like, the bartender or something
Sure.
to see if any eyes, like, follow me.
Yep. Yeah, you do. I mean, you get the looks that only someone in a shady bar would get, but it's nothing that you're not expecting.
Perfect.
All right. The other 4 arrived there. Jesse, James, Tetsuya, Dr. Lin.
Proud of that
Yeah,
one.
we'll put Jesse
The
at
boys.
the back door. Jesse goes to the back door to watch that. And we'll put James at the front door.
This is our new
I'll go-
party, Zeha. Feast your
Just gonna
eyes.
cry.
And Dr. Len has to sit on the inside seat, so Tetsu can make sure if anybody shoots, he's on the outside.
As we're walking over
Okay.
to the table, Len leans into you and whispers, "Do you have some sort of code name or street name or?"
Why do you have one?
So my. Okay, we're getting. I'll explain later. But hello,
He
Zeha.
does. It's Monk Boo too.
Welcome. Hello.
Tetsu just kind of nudges him into the seat.
Like, I'll just wait for some extra drinks around.
You get brought him.
So
Tetsu?
Len leaves his sitting in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have no NPC here, so this is all y'all.
yeah, Tetsu slides it over in front of himself and just starts sipping at his drink and goes, "I know you wanted to have a discussion with Len," and so he kind of like motions to Len and says, "Him and I have talked. What is... You had thoughts on Dr. Len?"
It's just Len. Or Bloodbelly.
I like raise an eyebrow
Blend it.
at Tetsu because I had specifically said that, like, I was going to talk, like, we needed to talk before Dr. Len. Like, I never said that I wanted to talk with Dr. Len. Just for clarity. I'll raise an eyebrow
You
though.
still set it up for
Yeah.
all, but
Well, I brought my concerns to Dr. Len directly in the past. I'm not sure what more there is to discuss in the current situation.
don't know. What I do know
I
is
agree. We just. I left our own devices. We handle this business. You go off and do whatever it is you're doing. Sounds like everyone's happy.
Are you happy,
I'm-
Dr. Len?
Ecstatic.
I raise an eyebrow.
Tetsu's just
Business is
looking
booming.
between them.
We are making big strides in the business now. Looking to expand. I couldn't be better.
Well, I suppose I'm glad to hear it. Although, I suppose we'll miss you.
You'll miss me?
On our adventures. If you're here running a conglomerate of a sort, well, then we'll have a hole in our party for our resident doctor.
Well, I'm not a doctor, so you'd be keeping that hole for quite some time.
I said our resident
But,
doctor.
well-
Did you not heal me from that particular disease? Did you not save Moat's life? Did you not save Tetsu's life many times? Was that
I
not
was ever
as
trying.
fulfilling as your current adventuring? Not adventuring, your current, whatever the word I'm missing is,
Endeavor.
endeavor, thank you.
Len kind of like pauses. Like he kind of like bridges his tentacles in front of him. Is that what you think I want to hear?
No, I think that you headed whichever way you've already decided. But considering our paths might diverge, as I don't really find myself in a position to come along with you on these choices, I will miss you.
I have a question. If what we are doing serves a purpose that makes people's lives better, is that not a worthwhile endeavor?
I understood
And
the need
I'm not
for
talking
it.
about what Dr. Len is necessarily doing at the moment, but maybe a new direction I want to go with Dr. Len that aligns what he wants with other opportunities.
what you endeavor to do is your own choices. If you think that you can find a way to help others while not damaging the lives of innocents, so be it, I suppose. It's not something that I can go down. It's not a path I can walk. And I rather enjoyed what we were doing together. I felt like it was for good causes, and we have what I felt were some threads that still are left untied. But I did think we were doing some good, and I was learning a lot from everybody here.
I agree. We were doing things that were good, and things that we maybe still need to do. And I'm not sure I'm fully ready to walk away from all of that, but at the same time, I think there are important things we can do that need to be started now. And
I worry that what you're starting now can't be put on pause for finishing up your other threads.
there's only one major thread we were pursuing, and we weren't the only ones, maybe two. But one of those threads may interact with this.
It'll have to be a little bit more specific for me to follow.
The thread that is in a box is difficult to pursue. The thread in a vial is a little more doable.
What about the missing thread?
Which thread?
You're losing me.
The one that was kidnapped. I'm talking
That
about
one
the queen.
also. I
Okay.
just picked up. That one is
speaking
also.
of-
Kibble or
Yeah. Speaking of when that's brought up, I've been thinking about asking this question all night, so it's brought up. Tetsu, you can decide how much of you know, but how, inner monologue real quick, how do each of your characters feel about making drugs for a group that has basically purely responsible for the queen's kidnapping plus taking over a planet?
Yeah, not good. I'll start us off.
Wait, do we-
I don't not a
do we
fan.
know? Do we know they're responsible for the queen's kidnapping?
You don't, like, very particularly, but you know that mercenaries were, and then once she was gone, mercenaries took over the planet.
And these seem to be like the leading ones. Like obviously there's a bunch of mercenary groups, but these guys are like
They're
heading
connected.
things.
Well, out of character, I think the Black Butterfly position was like they're their own thing outside of like the other mercs. But like in Tetsu's mind, like his goal is, if he's not sure who's done what wrong, and he's not really worried about people who've done bad things. Tetsu's kind of got the mindset of there are people doing bad things now. If I can set a floor, a line to cross that if you go down like too far, then you're gonna have to deal with me when I'm able to deal with people that are that dangerous. Like if he can dethrone Kaz, then he'll be at the point where he needs to be in his mind. So like he wants to basically create a line that people cross, like Batman, but kind of worse. Like a worse version of Batman is what Tetsu
Batman,
wants.
but making drugs and killing people. So nothing like
yeah,
Batman.
like
The
like
Joker,
Green
yeah.
Arrow, like Green Arrow, but like a little dark.
Not Daredevil, but they're what, Punisher?
Punisher, yeah,
Punisher,
like
There you go.
yeah, he wants to be Punisher. Like, okay, there are bad people in the world, and I can't fix all that, but I can fix the real messed up one. So
by killing them.
Okay.
yeah, well, not killing them necessarily, but yeah, by giving them options.
What about Dr.
Of
Lin?
which,
Like Saana being like, oh,
Suck it.
Oh, and he's back.
Saana, is the overlay still good?
Yeah.
Saana being like kidnapped well, not kidnapped, but like had explosion chip implanted is enough justification for him to be like, well, I need to do this. And then like being able to support the party with cash influx is like enough backing it up.
So that's kind of
Like his
what Zeha was about to touch on.
Well, and that's what. So, like, Tetsu is. Because I think you just asked, like. What did Zeha just ask? It was, like, related to this.
What about, I was basically talking about, like, all the threads that we have
Oh, right.
left.
The hidden. The one
the
that
missing
got
thread.
stolen. Yeah. And Tetsu's reply kind of, like, sums up his thoughts specifically about the queen and goes, I do not know what happened with her, but when I wanted to go after the queen, I was told it is not our problem. It is not a problem we should go after. You brought that up, and I had to follow with the rest. And think
I believe it
if
wasn't.
we can be in a position.
For the record, I believe it was a matter of prioritization, not that it was not something that was ever going to be on our plates.
Yes, I think a lot of things got prioritized that I don't necessarily
Like
think
I
we
said, I'm
should
not
have.
here to necessarily sway you from this path, simply making sure it's clear that I can't follow. I do have concerns.
Can follow, you just choose not.
No, I can't.
and I also want to just add, like, us doing this doesn't mean we're not part of the party still. We can hire managers to take over while we're gone. And Len looks to like Tetsu like, right?
Tetsu gives like that kind of complicated look.
Yeah.
Listen, my concern has to do with the fact that
Oh, you're kicking us out.
no.
If we are the group,
Go home.
just leaving.
Dr. Len, I understand that you feel like your hands are tied in this particular situation. Would you not
Metaphorically speaking.
pursue other options if there were? Ones where you're not indebted to people above you simply using you, and ones that would free you of those ties to let you do whatever you wish with your friends. I kind of like trail off on the friends.
He like noticeably hesitates. Yeah. If it were a reasonable chance, but then there's plenty of other things to consider.
Definitely. Kind of look over at Tetsu. Do you have any ideas?
Kind of looks at you for a minute and then, kind of ignoring the question, leans forward a little and goes, "What about my
My what?
What about my concerns?
Which concerns are those?
We didn't want to step into the civil war we helped start. We did not want to go look for the queen. We've not wanted to do some things that make things uncomfortable. I want to do something that stops the very bad people of this pact from operating. And I think Dr. Len and I can be enforcers that set boundaries. I want to work towards that. I wanted to make the Starfinders be more involved in things that targeted things that were wrong in this.
I think the Starfinders are targeting those things. I think that they're just going about it in a very different tactic than yours.
In a very roundabout way, yes.
Perhaps.
So currently, no, I do not have any options for Dr. Lin, but I'm not sure what we're trying to solve with Dr. Lin. What is the problem?
The problem is he feels that there's no choice given the situations of his friend. But if his friend was not tethered, then perhaps he could make his own decisions. And if that be continue, then let it continue. I'm one more for subtlety than I am for tackling things head on. Kind of like gesture to myself. I'm not very effective in that front.
No, but you could be very helpful. You could be very impactful, be very useful for us, for making not just your people better, but everybody better.
I do have plans to be very
you.
useful, simply not in your enterprise. It's in direct conflict to everything that I've worked towards, and I believe there are better ways about it.
However I can help Dr. Len, I will help Dr. Len.
Then perhaps...
You are not willing to help us.
I started off a conversation with someone who might be able to help.
He
Really now.
kind of looks up hesitantly, given that you had asked him a specific question. Seemed a little sus.
You mentioned, Len, that you would want someone incredibly skilled to doing the fine work of surgery that would be required.
Yes.
Did Tetsu let you know how his recent travels went?
I kind of touched on it, like, briefly in our conversation, that
He saved the guy that made him his dad, or I don't really understand it, but
That's someone incredibly skilled in technical, fine-tuned procedures, if not a little erratic. I'm sure if you can interest him...
Did you say you talked to him?
I did, yes. Perhaps that's an avenue to explore if you can pique his interest.
Len
Did you
looks-
ask me about talking to him?
What did you say? Sorry.
Did you ask me about talking to him?
No, I didn't.
Tell you to go talk to him?
I had an idea that might help our friend here, and I pursued it.
Chose for...
You keep cutting out at, like, the last word.
You chose for us, yes.
No, I made no promises or decisions. I simply wanted to know if it was a viable option before I got anyone's hopes up. I wouldn't want...
You couldn't have talked to me about the person that I did not give you information about. I didn't say to go talk to him. I didn't even send... I asked Arvin to protect him and stash him away. Is he hidden?
Yes, of course.
Just sips his drink.
And she's, like, purposefully not, like she can tell you're obviously, like, upset and frustrated, but she doesn't have, like, she's not really entertaining them as questions to actually be answered.
All right. We're going to pause y'all's conversation here. Think about where y'all wanted to head. Aizen.
We murdered Zeha.
First off, posed by the chat, and something I would like to know about. Out of character, obviously, kind of metagaming. What would Aizen's take be on all this? Like the making drugs, the like where Zeha stands, etc., etc., etc.
It's interesting. Aizen would see it both directions, that Len is actively, in some ways, spiraling, but that his intentions are to help us, and that clearly, like, what he's doing is not so much a cry to like help us as much as he's trying to get ground himself. And so very clearly he's like desperately reaching for support, and it seems like no one is really like, he's struggling to get that. Whether people are offering it or not is another matter, but like he very clearly is struggling with feeling that.
For
And
sure.
that's the like avenue in which Aizen would be like, put everything else aside. We can decide whether this is good, bad, or indifferent, because he sees merits to both options.
Right.
It's very clearly that Len is hurting, and that Len is going to be even more wild unless something is done. Like, this is just going to keep escalating unless someone actively like hugs
The
Len
nods.
and like, yeah, like that would be Aizen's take, is that like Len is actively a ticking time bomb, and it's just going to get worse until somebody actively.
I
Like,
think
Listen,
it's so
Tetsu's happy to fix the
unfortunate
girlfriend.
that, like, at first the only person left on Absalom was Zeha, because I feel like Zeha's the least able person to give him what he needs right now, given her situation and her priorities. It's not the whole party that's leaving, like, it's just Zeha, but Zeha's like the only other one aside from Tetsu who just got here.
And probably the only one ever to return Absalom.
Rip.
All right, cool. I like it, honestly. But Aizen's not there.
But Aizen, not Yakuza, right?
Aizen is instead on Shimrinsara. Some hours pass, probably some less hours than have passed in Absalom Station, and the two Shimrins come back to your cell. They let you know that they're going to let down the force field. Don't try anything dumb. It is time for your court or your council.
mm-hmm.
They very slowly let down your cell. Do you go with them?
I'm very respectful about this, all above board.
Okay. You are taken up from this underground place. You end up going up this lift platform. Let's call it an elevator. Some floors. And eventually you are brought out into this very large, for lack of better words, crystallized room. It's just this circular, somewhere between octagonal and circular, crystallized room. There's just like marble floors. All the pillars are made out of a different kind of crystal that my brain doesn't know. The entire ceiling is what anyone else would consider to be glass, but you know it's just this clear crystal that the lightning can't strike through, but you can sit here and you see right through it. You see the storm above. You're brought to the center where kind of the patterning of the floor all like centralizes to where you're standing, and then you see in front of you this, as I hit my mic, this like semicircle of a table where there's 9 seats there, and there are 5 filled in the center, with Yami in the middle, and then who you know, Kaze to his left, Raiko to his right, Emiko far left, and Maya far right. You would know of all of them, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You know some of them less than others, like you know Kaze very well, obviously.
Yes.
They all sit there for a second. Yami goes through this ritualistic standing. Everyone bows to you. You know that you're supposed to bow back.
I do so deeply.
They all sit down, and it's almost immediate. They open up, and you're used to it. It's a very like almost blitzkrieg type operation of bombardment, in which like they just begin firing questions. For sake of roleplay, I'm going to go one at a time, but imagine like 4 or 5 are coming out at the same time. And you hear Raiko say, "Where were you when the queen was kidnapped?"
I will answer very specifically. We were given a task to gather some information, which had led to a cascade of events that eventually led us to being in the same space, but in no way tied directly to the queen, or at least myself directly. I will not state or confirm any information about anyone else that was there, because I can either confirm or deny.
You hear Kaze speak up, a little less formal than the rest, and he gets some looks kind of shot to him because of it, but he says, "That's fine. You're the one on trial." And Maya very quickly, kind of overpowering him, says, "Where's the queen?"
Uncertain at this time. I know as much as the news would tell. Taken, kidnapped. I was able to see who took her, but where they went, they slipped through my fingers like wind. They teleported somewhere else, and then from there, I have no means of tracking.
One of them cuts you off. "Why did you leave, Shimrinsara?"
Because it was my duty as a tool to do so.
As a tool. If you were... one of them says "as a tool," question mark, and then Yami speaks up for the first time from the middle seat, says, "If you were doing your duty, you would be here."
I respectfully disagree, sir. If I was doing my duty to the fullest extent, what I should have done is throw myself into the caldera the first chance I got. Anything less is selfishness on my end, but unfortunately I could not carry out what I was supposed to do.
He scoffs, and Kaze says, "Where were you 3 months ago?"
Out of character because my memory is slightly poor.
Yeah, for sure.
I would
What
give
is
them
time?
I would give them an honest
It's
answer
fast.
as long as I knew that it wasn't actively bad.
Yeah,
Was that when
I'm
we were in
giving
the
the
drift?
correct answer.
I'm personally trying to remember. Let's all talk about it as a
I think we
as
would
a
have
team here.
been.
Hold on. As a team here, where were y'all before Castroville? The drug with Caliban thing before that.
We went through the door
The
and we
Yeah,
went
the door with the...
to the robot planet.
Oh, wow. Okay. Perfect. So just to let y'all know, I didn't know that. But
Easy explanation.
you get asked that, and you know that.
And I would actively say that I was actively trapped on a robot planet with a force field that was cutting off all communication from existence and
Made of souls.
consuming.
likely story.
Like not scientifically, but like actively
Heard
saying
that one
that,
before.
like I was actively trapped on a place I could not escape until I was able to escape.
Is there anybody that can corroborate this?
Actively, yes. There are several people. Shush.
I know. I'm not here. Sorry.
I imagine if you reached out to that planet in particular, they would know my face very particularly. I didn't leave that planet in the best of states, considering certain unseen circumstances with assassins.
You're gonna get hung on 2 planets.
Kaze is gonna see a little floundering and say, "Why did you join the Starfinder Society?"
In an attempt to make myself more useful to our people than I currently am. Right now, I find myself to be unuseful and actively problematic to our current way of life and I do not wish to be a source of chaos when I can do nothing about it. Our people deserve more. The way we live, the way we've chosen to build ourselves, one individual, one choice by the gods should not be forced upon all of them. If this is my task that I was given, by divine right or not, it's my duty to make sure that it doesn't cascade to everyone else. One crack in a gemstone can cause a large fissure, and I wish not to be that.
You hear a little like mumbling and whispering between each other. And we'll kind of pan out on that scene as we go back to the bar.
Rebel.
The bar.
Where did we leave at the bar?
Tetsu being butthurt.
Y'all all hated each other.
Oh, yeah. Listen.
You
all up in our shit.
I'm turning my markers into a giant marker lightsaber.
As one does.
This is why we know you're still 12.
But I think, the true thing is that hung up to be answered was whether or not that was an option that was Dr. Len was interested in pursuing.
Yeah, and Tetsu had said...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Tetsu had said, like, whatever Len needs, he would help with, but, like, at the time, I don't think him and Len would have talked about, like, Len's personal issues, because it was mostly catching up on business stuff.
Yeah,
like,
Len...
Tetsu wouldn't have
Len
known
didn't
to ask
mention it.
about it. Yeah. So, this is, like, the first he's hearing about, like, a friend of Len's in trouble, probably.
So do I kind of see that on your face, that you don't know what that convo is?
Well, when you had brought it up, yeah, you would have seen like that, and then like you had kind of elaborated that like there was a friend, like, and Tetsu said like he would help with whatever.
You mentioned doing things for the greater good and ensuring people don't get hurt. I think this current business on the back of blackmail and an individual's life is an option to pursue and fixing.
I am fine with us fixing this if what Dr. Len wants.
This business that you're pursuing is all coming from their request. I don't think that our Len here has much of a bargaining option. So until that is cleared up, they're always going to have something over you. I don't see why that would ever stop, even after you fill their current request log.
Tetsu just nods a bit and goes, I have my own reasons. I did not know Dr. Len was doing anything of the sort until you mentioned it when I got back. But I have my own reasons for wanting to be involved in this business. I can't do good the way I wanted to, and so I will do bad the way I think I need to. And so...
The question is, Dr. Len, is this an avenue you want to pursue?
Like, after you guys had, like, your back and forth, he, like, doesn't really register you're talking to him for a second. Oh, yeah. I could talk to this Dr.
Nope.
No. No? Not
Tetsu
Doctor?
shakes his head.
Names aren't important. I kind of, like, try to remind you, like... Bloodbelly,
but
was it?
He is a
yes.
doctor?
Yes, he's a doctor.
Okay.
Tetsu gives you the look of, I don't know.
I could talk to him, but we are still going to have problems if the people I am indebted to realize they've been screwed over in this.
Of course, but then the collateral is not something that can be taken away from you.
Yes, I understand that. I'm just saying that's
The
something to
question
be
is-
aware of.
the concern is, and I'm gonna like periodically like check the environment that we're in, like not getting too engrossed in the conversation, and just make sure that, you know, anybody new entering the bar, eyes on us, that kind of stuff. And
That is, in theory, what Jesse and James are also helping with.
right.
Yeah. I mean, they can't.
They are
like,
doing
pat
nothing.
down. They can't pat down people that come in the bar or anything. But
Evidently, they can't pat
they're
down anyone.
ensuring. They're ensuring that 4 to 5 people with guns out aren't flying into the bar. Yeah.
Right. They're not. Yeah. They're not patting people down.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I'm sure.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. With your keeping an eye out though. I mean, people are coming in and out very slowly. Honestly. Nobody from your recognition has. This is just me rolling over your checks. Nobody from your recognition has sat in a way that, like, you think they're trying to listen to you or keep an eye on you or anything else.
My concern comes in that there's guaranteed to be eyes on you, Len.
Kind of goes a little stiff when you say this. I'm aware.
And meeting with this individual requires secrecy and privacy. We'll have to see if that's possible.
What are you
Also-
proposing?
A discussion with Arvin.
Would this discussion involve disclosing recent matters and engagements?
Not if it doesn't become an issue. I would imagine that simply saying that you being blackmailed is enough reason to assist.
I would really rather keep the Starfinder Society out of this.
That's currently in whose graces Tetsuya has deposited our friend in. His friend in.
You can ask Arvin for simply a place to have a secure meeting. We do not have to.
And as these questions of talking to Arvin come up,
walks in.
Arvin walks right in. No, I'm gonna
was like, oh,
shoot
Dr.
him.
Lin, Dr. Lin dwell on it. I'm sure more questions and reasons about talking to Arvin come up, but we're gonna pop back over to Aizen real quick. Aizen, standing in the middle, being grilled by questions. Obviously, I am very specifically asking, I think, what would be the harder hitting questions. You're getting asked like probably 10 times more than these. But they continue based on what you said about the Starfinder Society. Yami speaks up and says, and you think they would help?
I believe they would provide insight.
More than your own. He means your own people, obviously.
Yes. They very specifically have no use for what I am at this point in time. And therefore, while I would have much preferred to stay here and garnered more answers, I worried that being a broken tool, I did not wish to be used inappropriately.
So you don't trust your people?
It's not that I don't trust my people, it's that by the nature of a tool being broken, even if someone were to try to use it, I'd worry that it'd be used inappropriately. It's not a matter of trust, it's a matter of understanding what I am and what I'm meant for.
Yami leans back in a way that, like, signals that he's done asking questions for now. Kaze speaks back up and says, do you know where Hikari is?
No, and though I would like to know, it is the reason I'm here in the first place. I heard
Give
that she
me-
needed...
Sorry. You can go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to finish with that, saying, word came to me that she needed me, and I rushed immediately here. Our ties
One
demand
of
at least that much.
one of them, all the way to the left, Demika says, "From your Yosoki, correct?"
Perhaps it's impossible to know who was at the other end of that line, but perhaps.
They all nod and stay quiet for a minute. Give me a sense motive.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, that's actually pretty good with my +1 sense motive. So, 10.
Wow. way
I
less than thought
disagree.
it'd be.
Look,
I was like, it
have,
might be a 15. Oh.
I don't have the dice roller pulled up, so I was expecting like
Same.
16 or something.
Yeah. 10 will
Exactly
do.
what I thought.
Is a natural 9 pretty good? Huh.
No, it's literally the
It's
bottom
below
half.
average.
I like it though. Yeah. You get something like a little off about all of them, but you can't really ping in to what it is.
Oh, trust me, Aizen understands that this whole scenario is a little off, right? Asking this question when someone in this room has either helped or actively taken Akari, he understands that much.
Sure.
Of course.
Okay. They continue questions, bombardment. Eventually, Yami speaks back up and says, "If allowed, will you stay here and take your rightful position?"
The
And he'll-
party splits even more.
Yeah, the question that he knew was coming, and that he like every question he's been kind of robotically answering or answering the best he could and not getting emotional, but this is the one question that he knew was coming, and that like weighs on him heavily. I wish to do what's best for the people as a society, and not what's best for just me as an individual. And with that in mind, until I get the answers that I know that I need to be part of this society, I think it's best that I leave. But I will not leave until I know that the people I care for are safe.
You see them all begin to look between each other. They all stand up. They bow to you, signaling that their questions are done.
Once they've signaled their questions were done, I'm going to cut in here and be like, I have one question for the council as a current member of the society.
They all, again, glance through each other. And with no significant motion that it's not allowed, Kaze speaks up and says, "I'll answer if possible. If not, it'll be over."
It is a question that I doubt any of us can answer, but I think it is something that is worth weighing on. Someone, not myself, thought it prudent enough or important enough to not only waste our community resources, but to put our community at risk just to get at me, to go above and beyond to act as other people, to masquerade, to create falsehood and lies, to kidnap and harm. And I am sitting here, left thinking, what is the society to do? The society is meant to work for the group. That is why the caste system exists. That is why the council exists, as I'm sure your prestigious selves would agree. It cannot stand that we allow others to manipulate what we have built for the sake of one individual. That is a true shame and debasement of everything we built and stand for as a community. Will you let this stand?
Yami, you could tell that the entire time Yami wanted to speak and was allowing you to finish. And eventually, standing there, he just kind of slams his hand on the table and says, if anything, you were at fault for leaving. Without you gone, Hikari would be here. Without you gone, the society would be moving forward. Without you gone, other societies would not have access to the information that our society deserves.
Do they look at me
Then-
as if to respond, or are they gonna peace out? Because
Yeah, they let it stand for like 2 or 3 seconds, and if you even if you don't respond, they begin to speak, and if you attempt to respond, they cut you off.
no,
And
I
they
won't. I
say-
won't respond. I was just like, yeah,
Sure.
I will not respond.
Yeah, and they all do the bow again. And then the 2 guards that have kind of been standing that have brought you here take you back to your cell. They tell you on the way that, and you would know this obviously, that the council is going to deliberate for a couple of hours, 1 to 2 hours probably. And then you'll be presented with an ultimate decree or an option, as they like to do.
I will ask the guards, and this is probably the first time that I've spoken to the guards outside of specifically being asked questions. Would you mind bringing me something to drink before they do? I'd rather not meet them unawares, and I'd rather taste my homeland before I have to fill my mouth with the taste of a very bad decision.
Just sounds dirty.
One of them nods to you, and they do bring. I assume you're talking about like alcohol.
Yeah, from Shimrinsara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do bring you an alcohol. It's like it's annoyingly stringent to the fact of like they'll fill your glass, hand it to you through the force field. If you want more, they're gonna fill it again. That kind of thing. So you get it. They're kind of controlling the means. You don't get the whole bottle, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's fine. Some guy's gonna have to sit with me then for the next however until I finish that bottle, because I'm gonna finish that bottle.
Okay. About an hour or 2 passes. You are slowly brought back to the center of that room. As you stand there, none of them sit down. They don't bow. They don't sit. They're ready to give you their delineation.
I actively bow to them.
None of them bow still. And we'll go back to the bar real quick.
Of course.
Get
No, I
wrecked,
don't think
nerd.
we will actually.
Yeah, we will. All right.
It's fine.
had-
It's gonna be fine.
You've had some time to think on it, Dr. Lin. If anyone else wants to say anything about it, feel free. But
Fine. Okay. We can go to the Starfinder Society. But we will be keeping things as down low as possible. And he's like looking at Zeha. We'll just be saying we need a private place to meet with our mutual friend.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then we can text when it's time to meet up.
Who's this friend? Should we bring them to meet with my friend?
Yes.
I think that'd be a good idea. My name's Saana, an old friend of mine from
Tetsu
Pact
just
World.
shakes his head no. No, don't.
Oh, oops. Well, can't be worse than what's already happened to her.
Not true.
At this point, everybody give me a perception check.
Oh, look what you did!
I want to
I'm gonna
just
use
because
my
there was
new
one thing I
dice.
wanted to say.
Hey guys, I messed up.
It's short. Should I wait?
30.
What do you want to say?
I was going to like move to stand up, but I don't have to yet. But I was gonna kind of like look at Dr. Len and kind of like parting words, just kind of be like, and for the record, I do consider you a friend.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll say that those words get out, and then this perception check.
16.
And Len will potentially respond depending on what this perception check is.
26.
What'd you get, Dr. Glenn?
30.
Goodness. Okay.
Oh, I clicked.
Zeha and Dr.
I see
Len.
everything!
Zeha and Dr. Lin, you begin hearing murmurs of like sure, it's a bar. There's been murmurs. There's been this like light talking in the background the entire time. But you begin hearing murmurs to the fact of like you swear you're hearing things repeated. It's like a rumor spreading through a crowd.
Not like a glitch in like a video repeating itself.
No,
Okay.
like a game of telephone, but across 100 people in 5 seconds.
That would have been a hell of a lot more scary.
I was like, are we in a fucking simulation? Like what?
No.
Waffles just breaks out Inception. Oh god!
But you keep hearing these things get repeated.
I tune in
and-
like instantly.
Yeah, what's getting repeated?
You tuning in instantly. I'm going to trigger warning real quick because of what's going on in the world. Trigger warning war and such.
Thank you.
You hear these constant voices and people like you have to tune in because a lot of these people are outside of the bar, and eventually it comes into the bar, goes to the bartender. You know how stuff spreads. You hear these people saying, "Did you hear what happened? Did you hear what happened? What's going to happen to Castroville?"
Comm unit open, searching the news.
Yep. Multiple news bulletins and different just types of news from everything from blog posts to news videos of the Queen of Castroville has been executed.
What?
Well, there's the end of that thread.
There are follow-up reports of reporters declaring that this is what would be seen as the most tragic day in the Pact Worlds, and for all intents and purposes, this seems like a declaration of war. And then eventually, through y'all's searching, you find what looks to be a video of the Lizard Man and the Skittermander. With the for sake of brevity and I don't think brevity is the word, but for the sake of niceness, showing what would be the queen's like crown / necklace covered in blood on video. There's more. They prove she's dead. But
I assume at some point, like, Tetsu picks up on everybody, like, these two, like, checking their comms and stuff.
yeah,
I'm gonna outright just kind of be like, we need to get back to the Starfinder Society immediately.
and as you say that, we're gonna
okay.
flip over to Aizen real quick.
Yeah, Tetsu also, in that last moment, looks like he's about to just murder a bar. Like,
Just pick up both.
not
Jesse
for a
and
good
James,
reason.
Just throw them.
just that rage that Tetsu's never really exhibited properly.
Yep. I imagine y'all are like, we zoom out as y'all are like scattering out of the bar. And we switch over to Aizen, and we hear Yami speaking. You have 3 choices. Accept reincarnation. You know that they would basically make you into a different person, hoping to keep the energy inside you. Likely a person that they can convince to stay here because that's what they want. Accept your position. Or fight. And that's where we'll end the session.
Oh.
Well, what the fuck, Waffles?
Why? We know what he's gonna pick.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
we?
we all know that answer.
We
Yes.
don't. We don't.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.